Welcome to another episode on our channel. We've been kind of really distracted with work and a lot of different things. And unfortunately, this is my 30th year in academia, and it is my most hectic year to date. So we'll do our best to keep rolling, but it's going to be hard. You've seen this figure before. I got it off of eBay. It's a 3D resin print. It's not bad, to be honest. It came in pieces. It was pre-painted, which I appreciated. And it's not bad, but the head is awful. They probably did some creative shadowing in Photoshop, so the head that I got is not the head that I thought I saw. The pupils were really bad. So you know how you have pupils in the middle of your eyes. These pupils were, instead of cross-eyed, it was more on the outside. So I had to move them over. And it held, but it's still, I don't like the head because the face is too narrow. It didn't look that way in the photo on eBay. The other problem is the skin is really light. The stand is one color. Now it might look like it's got some color tones, different color tones in it, but it's all one color. Anything that you see that may look like different color tones is basically shadows, the lighting that's being used. So I need to do several things with this piece. I need to create some shadowing in the stand. I think they used, the resin that they used is flesh tone color. This is way too light for my perspective. I want to use a different head with this head sculpt, with this statue, I should say. So I want to use a different head sculpt with this statue. And subsequently, it'll have a slightly darker tone. So I want to try to match the skin tone to that slightly darker tone. I want to put more shading in places like the fur and the skeleton and so forth. And I want to add something else to it. So hopefully it'll look a lot better by the time I get done. So, but I wanted to give you the, the look of it to begin with, and then we'll see on the other side what it looks like afterwards. We'll do some close-ups from the feet all the way up to the top of the head one more time so you can see the beginning and end product. So we'll be right back. So I do like the stand, but what appears to be darker tones in the stand is actually a result of the lighting in the room. So it's all one color. The boots, I don't know if I'm going to change the color of the boots and then do a washing on them, but I do think the fur at the top of the boots needs to be toned down with some slight washing. And as we go up, you'll see some fur around her waist. I think that needs to be toned down as well. The skin, the flesh tone needs to be darkened a touch. And as we keep going up, you'll start to see the skeleton. Looks like a saber-toothed tiger on one shoulder. That has to have some washing in it, as well as some of the bones on the other shoulder. But the head sculpt is awful, which means that there's going to have to be some modifications to the neck piece, because regular 1/6 scale head sculpt is not going to fit nicely on this body without some adjustments there. The other thing is that it's really glossy at the top part of the body, the neck, and the face itself. So changing the head sculpt is going to be a good thing, but also toning down the glossiness with the skin is going to be very important. So there you go. We are back, and she's had a makeover. So I did put some dry brush lighter colors on the stand. I couldn't stand it being just one color. I didn't change the color of the boots, but with the fur, I put a little wash on the fur so it wouldn't look so flat. The problem sometimes when you have something just in one color, it looks flat. I also washed the skull and the bones on her shoulders. So again, it wouldn't look so flat. I darkened the flesh tone a bit. My husband was able to modify the neck and did so magnificently so that the head fits on her. I decided to keep her with the same color hair, but this head definitely had to go. It was not a good look for her on any level. So I was able to find a 1/6 scale head sculpt that had the right color hair, and I think she looks very nice now. She's definitely a keeper. I wasn't sure I was going to keep her before, but now, especially putting a cape around her, that was another thing I added to this process. I think she's absolutely stunning now. So what we'll do is we'll get some close-ups from her feet all the way up to the top of her head, and then rotate her, get her on a rotating tray side to side, and then talk a little bit more about her. We'll be right back. So there is a touch of dry brushing on the stand now, lighter brown compared to the dark brown. So it gives it a little more fullness from my perspective. The boots I didn't change other than the fur at the top of the boots. I did a subtle black wash on the fur there. I did change the flesh tone as we go up. You'll see that there is some, I mean, she's not crystal clear clean. There's some dirt on her legs type of thing. And the fur around her waist is washed as well. And again, she's, but the neat thing about kind of giving her a somewhat slightly dirty look is that you can see a little more definition in the body. It's not as flat. And the skull, the bone pieces on each side of the shoulder have been washed, so they stand out a bit more. They're not as flat. And that head, that's perfect. With the cape, I think she looks awesome now. So we'll pause and get her on a rotating tray and talk a little bit more about her. Oh, before we do that, we'll go side to side. We are back, and to me, it's night and day in terms of how she looks now. Again, the skull, the bones on the shoulders, they've been washed. The fur and the fur at the top of her boots have been slightly washed in black, and then it just gives more definition to everything. And of course, the flesh tones, just making her just a touch more dirty gives her a little more definition. She looks awesome. And putting a cape on her, I think, pretty much seals the deal, so to speak. She looks great. I really, truly wasn't thinking of keeping her after I got her, despite how well painted she was in terms of the body. The head really was a downer for me, but getting this particular head sculpt and my husband making the adjustments so I could get it to fit nicely on the figure has made a world of difference. So we'll pause now and get a close-up of her face. We'll be right back. So here is the new improved look. Here is the original head, and you can see night and day between the two heads. This one, very glossy. The eyes aren't right. I did try to center the eyes better, but they were way off in terms of the original paint job. The face is way too narrow. It just didn't fit. And all it takes is one thing that will ruin a figure. And for me, this particular head ruined a whole figure. So getting this head instead is perfect. The only thing I would probably add to this head is what's on the forehead here of this figure. I'll fashion something that kind of mimics that. And her hair, her bangs fell off. You can see this comes in two pieces, but that gives you a better look of the actual head itself. Not very good from my perspective compared to the head on her now. So anyway, let's just go side to side. Night and day. And there you go. I really struggled with this figure at first with the original head it came with. I loved the figure from the head on down. The head sculpt did nothing for me. And you know, something as simple as a head sculpt can make you not want to hold on to something. I was almost to that point where this was just, you know, I'd sell it or give it away or something like that. And I decided, let me see if I can do anything with it. So as I said earlier, I gave more definition to the stand. I did a little dry brushing of a lighter color to kind of have things become a little less flat as a result. I did some light black washes to the fur above the boots, the fur here, and to the skeleton pieces, the bones on her shoulders, did a light white, not a light white, but a light black wash to again have some definition come out. And of course, darkening the flesh tone allowed some of the definition to come out in terms of the body structure. So that was a nice touch too. Now, it does seem like the face is a little lighter now compared to the body versus the opposite before I darkened it a bit. But the light is a little deceptive. Without the light, the match is pretty darn good. And to cap everything off, adding the cape, again, was the crowning jewel, I think. The only thing I need to add is something around her forehead if I'm going to do anything else to this figure, but I'm really happy with it. The one thing I learned is redhead. Why do we use the word redhead when it's obvious that people who are called redheads have orange colored hair? And just doing a quick internet search, I found out that the word orange or the color orange didn't even enter the English language until the 16th century, the 1500s. So the only word they used to describe this way back when was red. And thus the word or the phrase redhead. So changing it to orange head, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. It sounds like an orange that we're equating this person to an orange head. So redhead, I guess, is going to stick, but truly it's a person with orange hair. Regardless, she looks awesome now. I'm happy with the outcome. And if I didn't make the changes that I did make, I wouldn't be even tempted to keep her. So anyway, we'll be right back. So here's one last look at our redhead. She looks awesome. I hope you've liked what you've seen, the changes that we made. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.